victory. Easy for me to say.
It's all right. It's been a long day, Alan. I want to bring in Dale because you have a new member of your exclusive club now. 3 guys have won Daytona and the Brickyard in the same year. And you've also felt the other side of that equation with Juan Pablo Montoya.
Yeah, and let's speak about Montoya first. We had a race here in '98 where I had the fastest car, and unfortunately we didn't win. We ran it out of gas, but this is 2 years in a row for Montoya to just be dominant here. So really feel for the guy. I'm sure that he'll be back, ready to go next week and back here again next year trying to do it. But Jamie McMurray, it's a great feeling whenever you win the 2 biggest races in the same season. Just fantastic, and my hat's off to Jamie for joining that club.
And one of the things that makes this racing so special is that strategy call right at the end, and 4 tires wasn't it.
Yeah, I would have called for 4 tires, and for sure that would have been a conservative call. But McMurray's team, they decided to go with 2, and quite a few other teams. And I kind of feel for Brian Patty. He's the one that's probably feeling responsible for the way this thing kind of turned out, because it put him back in traffic and got him in trouble. But that's just what makes him so unpredictable. That's why you got to watch him every week. You never know.
All right, let's talk to second place, Kevin Harvick.
Kevin Harvick has won this race before and came close to doing it again today. Second place. I know it's not the same as winning, but you were in position. What was the key on that last restart when Biffle got around you?
Well, I got tight going into turn 1 there in the middle, and just had to wait on my car, and Jamie was able to just carry the momentum around the outside. The first restart, my car took off great. We were able to get by him, and my car never acted like that again. But good day for our Shell Pennzoil Chevy, and everybody did a great job just putting us in position. I felt like we had a top 5 car, but didn't have a winning car, and we had a chance to win there at the end and just came up a little short.
How do you put in perspective the strides that this organization has made in a year's time?
It's pretty hard to put it into perspective, just for the fact that last year we were at best a mid-pack car on a good day, and this was kind of the turnaround where it started last year, where we got our new cars. And even today, we like I say, we had a top 5 car, but we had a car that was capable of winning at the end because we took a chance and were able to run fast enough to have a chance. So with our cars last year, we couldn't even take that chance because they weren't fast enough and we wind up in the way. But good job to Gil and all the guys.
The points leader, Kevin Harvick, second today at the Brickyard.
Yes, and he has had a very good year so far, as we pointed out at the beginning of the broadcast. How about the ticket to the race, our upcoming events? Next week, we're going to be off to Pocono and then on to Watkins Glen, Michigan, Bristol, on through to Auto Club Speedway. All you have to do is log on to NASCAR.com/tickets or call 866-GO-NASCAR. We'll see you at one of those events down the road. When we come back, Carl Edwards will be joining us in the pit studio with Alan and the guys. He finished 7th. He'll give us his evaluation.
Track for the fans to see. One of the traditions post-race here at Indy. Won't be too long before he'll be out by that yard of bricks to pucker up, put that big old smooch on the yard that he'll so enjoy. Chip Ganassi, co-owner Felix Zabata is all piled in there. Now joining us in our ESPN pit studio, as he's agreed to do for all of our ESPN race telecasts this year in our extensive post-race coverage, Carl Edwards, today driver of the Aflac Ford for Roush Fenway Racing. First of all, you were remarking before we start to talk about your race about your fellow, what is it, Missouriite?
No, he's a Missourian. And yeah, it's a proud day to be from Missouri. It's so cool for Jamie to win this race, to see what he's been through. The first time I met him, he was at Mike Mittler's shop. He came and answered the door, and he's all greasy. He used to have long hair, and he's working on something under the truck. And he's always been a polite guy and a guy that could do anything on the race car. And to see the struggles that he's gone through, and I mean, just look at that smile. That's yeah. Unbelievable. It's so cool to see him out there.
Priceless. Now let me take you through a little bit of your race. You wound up finishing 7th. It wasn't that easy. You started 19th. There was a big wreck, turn 2, lap 1. You missed that somehow, but then you wound up on pit road at lap 10 with an overheating car.
Right, and I don't know what it looked like to you guys or to the fans, but the air was the biggest thing we were racing out there today. And there was one time when somebody got the splitter down there in the grass, and it looked like a snowplow, and it threw all this grass up. And I'm glad I looked at my water gauge, because it was it just headed up, got to 300 degrees, and a lot of guys had that trouble. But then as the race went on, we took 4 tires at the end because we thought that tires would be the thing, and that it's so strange. You're not really racing the tires, you're racing that air. And the guys with 2 tires, they're the ones that made out today.
We sit right here in the pit studio, myself and Ray, Andy, Peter, the booth, and said, hey, 4 tires, that is it. But the clean air, I mean, getting that car out front just had to be everything. Did it feel that way? I mean, it looks like the cars were all over when they got behind cars.
Right, you could run very hard, on the short run and kind of ratchet some positions up. But, you know, as opposed to last night at a small track like ORP where aero's not such a big thing, you know, 4 tires that was the deal there. I don't even, you know, no tires or 2 tires was the deal here. And Jamie and those guys played it right, and then they stayed out front. We just, we never had a chance to get up there. But the cool thing for us is that I think Greg Biffle had a chance to win this race. I felt like he had a car that could do it. That's great for Ford, for 3M, for Aflac, for all of us at Roush Fenway. You know, we obviously lost a great driver in Jamie, but it's nice to be able to keep up with him a little bit here at this race.
Yeah, that was going to be my comment. I mean, you guys feel like you've kind of turned the corner a little bit today. I mean, you had Matt Kenseth, yourself, Greg Biffle, all within the top 12. Yeah. Looked like you all ran pretty well. Is this a turning point for you guys?
Yeah, it is, and it's inspiring to look at what Jamie did and those guys today. See him going around that racetrack smiling and waving with the checker flag, and to know that, you know, his 2009 was not what he wanted it, and here he comes to 2010, and he's won, you know, the 2 biggest races of the season. You know, and that gives us hope. And I'm proud of my guys back at the shop, just as those guys should be proud of theirs.
Well, I was going to kid you and tell everybody you knocked me out of my chair when I get there, but I figured you had a long enough week with that. But
I was hoping we could make it through this without bringing that up.
I said he's in great shape. He's not even sweating. But, you know, it seems like in the last 3 or 4 weeks at Roush, you guys have really turned the corner. Is that the new engine? Is it suspension? It just seems like right now you're a threat to win races again.
Right, it's everything, and you guys know how that is. You have to have every part of the package, and you know the perfect example is you know, I keep talking about Jamie, but it's his day today, and you look at Jamie and how he ran and you know, over with us, and then he came over to this other team, and he's running so well. And it's really inspiring to all of us. We sit there in those meetings and we go, look, you know, we can do this too. We can go out here and perform well. In the last few weeks, it's been that FR9. It's been the guys in the shop paying attention to the details. This new car I drove today is the nicest car we've had come out of the shop. And it's everybody sticking together as a team. That's what makes things work.
So to put a button on your day, you wound up 7th after being 33rd 10 laps into the race. You were there by Montoya when he had his troubles late in the day. Just kind of put a button on your whole day for us.
Our day was great. We had one of our Aflac Crew of Courage members, a man, Jerry, that had beaten cancer 3 times. Wow. And it kind of put things into perspective for me starting the day. And we never got down. We kept digging, and we needed it to be the Brickyard 600 or 700 to make a couple more positions. But a great day for us and for Ford.
Carl, thanks for your analysis on the race and some of the things you saw. We look forward to talking to you after next Sunday's race in Pocono.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.
Carl Edwards joining us on our ESPN post-race coverage after finishing in the top 10 in the Brickyard 400.
And as you look down on this beautiful 2.5-mile layout, another race in the record books. And let's check in with a guy who had a long day. A 4-time champion, Jimmy Johnson. Jamie Little's with him.
Well, for Jimmy Johnson, an eventful day today, Jimmy, from start to finish. The pit road issues. What happened earlier?
Well, you know, we were just trying to make the car better on the pit stops, and took some time early in the race to adjust the car to correct the tight end. My car was just so tight in. I had guys out braking me at a track where, you know, you really don't charge the corner. So we're really confused as to why. Maybe something went on with the shock or something in the front, although we changed both front shocks thinking that might be it, and it didn't really correct the problem. So we, you know, from Chicago, we had this as well, where at a certain point in the race we just got real tight, and then today it happened probably about, you know, after that first caution that we had at 15 laps or something. After that, it just got real tight in and I couldn't go anywhere.
3 finishes in a row now, 22nd or worse. That's not like Jimmy Johnson, the 48 team. How are you guys looking ahead now to Pocono?
And you just never know each week. It doesn't matter if, you know, the 11 cars have been on a roll at times. We've been on a roll at times, 29. Whoever it is, no one seems to be able to sustain for a long period of time. So the only saving grace I see right now is that no one has been able to link together a long stretch. Outside of the 29, I mean, he's been awfully tough. But a good thing this race isn't in the chase. That's another good thing I can look at. I'm trying to find some positives here. But we'll move on and we'll be stronger. There's no doubt about it.
Jimmy Johnson staying optimistic.
All right, Jamie, as you finish, the Corvette pace car has made it back around. Believe it or not, there were 7 people in that Corvette, including Chip Ganassi and Felix Sabates and our race winner, Jamie McMurray. Chevrolet didn't know they made a...
I've been 7.5.
They didn't know they made an SUV that size or that powerful, did they? They got a lot of people in there, but here it is, the moment that was begun by our colleague right up here in the booth, along with your crew chief, Todd Parrott, came up with the idea of kissing the bricks. And the traditions here at Indianapolis, of course, the milk back in 1936 with Louis Meyer. He actually drank buttermilk that day, believe it or not.
I think Jamie's going to pour some Coca-Cola on the bricks before he gets done.
Well, that would make it taste a little better, wouldn't it? What is it?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. There's no doubt. A good Coca-Cola. I'm sure he's ready for a good cold Coke right now.
Can you imagine?